Trading in Rocket League. Trading in Rocket League has been a thing for many years, and there are even channels on YouTube and series on YouTube dedicating to trading in Rocket League, whether that's tips and tricks as to how you can trade your way from perhaps nothing to something, or just videos of people making insane profit, insane trades, or trading for items that are extremely rare. It certainly is a big part, a big secondary part to Rocket League, which of course is primarily gameplay. You are not going to want to miss this. Today, I'm going to explain how I traded just over 100 keys worth of items for over 500 keys. This is not a joke. If you're someone who's into trading, who's into markets, who's into Rocket League, then you are going to want to watch this video because it's absolutely insane, and you just won't believe the results of some of these trades that I'm going to go through with you today. So 2 years ago, I made 2 videos, both of which combined totaling to about 1.5 million views. It was back on my PS4, so today in this video we are going to be looking at PS4 prices as provided by RL Insider. I don't know too much about PS4 prices, so some in your opinion might be slightly off by like the odd key here and there, but the whole premise is still the same. It's going to be awesome. I did 2 videos selling my inventory, one of which for about 160 keys and the other one for a massive 400 keys. And today I figured we look at the price of items now, the price of items then, how much profit that makes me, and why this might be happening to the market in Rocket League. I get a lot of people saying, why don't you make trading videos? Why don't you do nothing to something videos? Or my own spin on the series, my something to nothing giveaway trading videos. Why don't you do trading tips or trading for different items, just seeing what you can do in Rocket League? If you guys are interested in trading and something like this interests you, or something like a nothing to something interests you, then leave a like on this video and let me know down in the comments. I'm really going to be looking at the likes and comments on this video to see what you guys are thinking about Rocket League trading in 2019 and on the pickapixel channel, because I've done a few trading videos here and there. The 2 we're going to look at today, I did a nothing to something previously. I did blind trading, of course. Don't know if that really qualifies, but you guys seem to like trading, so I'm interested to see what you guys are thinking now. Before I get into this, I just want to give a massive shout out to the sponsor of this video. Now, a lot of my trading videos back in the day, my crate videos, item related videos would honestly not be possible without the help of the sponsors, the support of the sponsors, and the support from you guys of the sponsors. So I'm going to play the sponsored intro. If you've watched it, you know what it's about. Just skip forward 20-30 seconds and you can go past it. But if you do want to buy something from them, be sure to use my discount code PIXEL for 6% off your purchase, because it will really help me save some money. It's helped me save a lot of money in my time. So I'm going to play the intro and then we're going to get into the good stuff. This is insane. I've got the biggest plan I've ever made for a video this year. It's crazy. The plan on my screen right now, it's big. You guys need to go and check out the sponsors of this video, lolga.com. They sell gift cards for cheaper than they actually are if you use my discount code PIXEL at checkout for 6% off. Say you want a $50 gift card, go to the checkout, use my code, and you can get it for cheaper than $50. If you want to buy V-Bucks on Fortnite, keys on Rocket League, or much more, then you can go and do that using the link in the description. Lolga is not affiliated with any game that I'm playing or showing on the channel, but they're really supporting me, and I hope you go show them some love. So, with that being said, enjoy the rest of the video. So kicking it off, we have the first video, kind of the smaller amongst the 2 videos, and we're going with PS4 prices like I said, and here is what I sold first of all for the total of 162 keys. We'll look at what I sold, the price I sold it, we'll go to the next video, do the same, and then we'll get to the best part, the prices today. What's happened to the wheels or the items, why has that happened, and what does that mean for me? And of course for you guys. You're probably gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh seeing these prices. It's unreal. But here we go. Kicking it off, I sold my forest green voltaic wheels. They were only just crowned voltaics back then. That was about a month after they were lightning wheels and then changed to the name voltaic. So if you watch any of my old crate openings before February 2017, you'll see that they were called lightning wheels. A lot of items were called lightning, so in an update, they changed it to voltaic. I sold forest green voltaics for 36 keys. We are off to a flying start. The next one is even crazier. Like I said, I'll get into the profits and what's going on and why later on in the video. We've got purple loopers for 27 keys. Coming up after that, we have saffron FSLs, an import wheel from the Champions Crate 4 series, the discontinued extinct series, I have to say. I sold those for 5 keys. And then I sold a bunch of Spiralis wheels, sky blue, purple, orange, and crimson collectively for 14 keys. Now you have to remember this was back in the day when you could only do a maximum of 50 keys per trade. So, and that does play quite a part in the trades in this video. So 14 keys for those 4 Spiralis wheels. And then coming up next, we have a little bit of a painted Zomba collection. At this time, these were all the painted Zombas I had in my inventory. So just remember that. Forest green Zombas, grey Zombas, lime Zombas, and orange Zombas, all CC4 because Player's Choice had literally only just come out by that point. 47 keys for those 4 pairs of painted Zombas. Coming up after that, we have pink painted loopers, the exotic wheels, and then crimson and purple painted wildcat ears. You might be thinking, what the heck are they? They are a rare topper that were, for a long time, the most sought after topper. People loved them. They were simple and clean, but they looked really, really good. Either way, those pink loopers and the 2 pairs of wildcat ears I sold for 14 keys. And the final trade in that video was a Lobo trade, believe it or not. You can't get anything for Lobos nowadays, of course, unless it's Crimson Lobos. They go for about 1,000 keys a wheel. April Fool's 2017. Forest green, burnt sienna, purple and pink Lobos with titanium white pulsus wheels and grey voltaic wheels I sold for 19 keys. So that totaled to 162 keys. Moving on to the big one, we have, kicking off with the Beta Nugget, which is a PS4 exclusive item. Like I said, I'll go through prices today, later on in the video. I'm just telling you what I got first of all. Beta Nugget, saffron ARAs, and 2 non-painted endos. Just the regular endo. It has to be said that this second video was filmed just after the Turbo Crate came out, I think a week or two. So items like the endo, the roulette, they were more expensive at this time, and that is another point I want to make later on in this video, so stick around if you want those tips. But the Beta Nugget, saffron ARAs, and 2 non-painted endos, 50 keys. Now coming up, we have one of the biggest one of the biggest trades of this video. A heat wave, I believe it was certified. A few of my black markets were certified, but none of them were striker, so I've just discontinued that. A heat wave black market decal and a titanium white endo. Fairly cool, but obviously titanium white endo back then was all the rage. So I got given for those 2 items 100 keys. 50 keys for free, and then 50 more keys for the heat wave and the titanium white endo, totaling it at 100 keys, which is phenomenal. After that, we have the labyrinth black market and a pink photon wheel. I sold those for 10 keys, so modest, not too bad. I'm liking that. Coming up after that, we have the titanium white roulette. Now in this video, I actually said that I bought it for quite a bit more than I sold it for, and that just shows how the market chops and changes. But I sold my titanium white roulettes for 50 keys. Unreal. Coming up next, we have the only item in the entire video that has actually gone up in value that I lost some value on in this video, and that is a slipstream. I sold my slipstream on PS4 for 5 keys. Moving on, we have another group of septum wheels. Again, I think they were very, very new. We have forest green septums and sky blue septums both together selling for 13 keys, which is obviously really awesome. And then coming up after that, we still have the very popular C4 Spiralis wheels. I sold the purple Spiralis wheels, the crimson Spiralis wheels, and the white Spiralis wheels for 15 keys overall, which is also awesome. Coming up next, we have another trade that I was shocked to even see. I'd forgotten this item existed. An import boost, the Tachyon. Crimson Tachyon and burnt sienna Tachyon combined for 11 keys. Wow. Another absolutely massive trade, and I did actually say in the video that this was a lower offer than I wanted because he did overpay a little bit for previous items. I sold some Crimson Voltaics for 90 keys. 90, not 19, even that would be considered quite a bit today. 90 keys for the Crimson Voltaics. The next one was a little Wildcat ear trade. Saffron, pink, and cobalt Wildcat ears I sold for 4 keys. After that, we have saffron Zombas that I sold for 13 keys, and black Zombas that I sold for 39 keys, which is crazy. So that totaled up to 400 keys, and then I was given by Jake, because this was a trade with Jakers back when he had 52 subscribers, he gave me 3 keys for free. So that's 403 keys, meaning that overall that is 565 keys. Now we're going to fast forward to the profit that I made for each item and why perhaps certain items have changed so much in price and why some haven't, and everything like that. It's a very interesting video. It's chock full of information, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. The forest green Voltaics are currently valued at about 4.5 keys, giving me a 31.5 key profit there, which is insane. The next one, arguably more insane, purple loopers valued at just 2 keys, giving me a 25 key profit on that trade over the 2 years, because obviously the items have depreciated. Like I said, we'll get more into that later on. Saffron FSLs are now going at less than a key, giving me a 4.25 key profit, which again, you gotta love that. The group of 4 Spiralis wheels, sky blue, purple, orange, and crimson, 4 times 0.7 keys goes for 3 keys, giving me an 11 key profit on that trade. This one is very, very interesting. the painted Zomba set that I sold. I sold forest green Zombas, grey, lime, orange Zombas for 47 keys. They're now valued at 10 keys, giving me a 37 key profit, with forest green at 2.5, grey at 3.5, lime at 2.5, and orange at 1.5. So phenomenal stuff there. The pink loopers and the crimson and purple wildcat ears were valued at 3.25 keys, giving me a profit of 10.75 keys. Most of the profit coming from the pink loopers there, which are now just valued at 0.75 keys apparently, which is just... that is absolutely bonkers. And of course the Lobos, they're not valued that high at all. The forest green Lobos, burnt sienna Lobos, purple Lobos, and pink Lobos with the white pulses and grey volts, all of which under 3 keys, are now worth 10.5 keys, giving me an 8.5 key profit there. So for the items that I sold for 162 keys, I could sell them today for 34. So that gives me a 128 key profit in the first video. As you could tell by the trades I made in the second video, they were bigger and better. And obviously as years gone by, even more insane. So kicking it off, we have the beta nugget, which is now valued at 16 keys, still fairly modest. That's only like 2 to 4 less than it was back then. Saffron ARA is now valued at less than a key, and 2 endos also valued at less than a key, 1.5 for both, making those 4 items worth 18.25 keys, giving me over 30 keys, 32.75 keys profit on that trade. The next one, the biggest one of the entire video, you could argue, Heatwave and Titanium White Endo for 100 keys. The Heatwave now valued at just 11.5 keys, and the Titanium White Endo just at 6 keys, making that 17.5 keys for those 2 items, giving me an 82.5 key profit, which at this time is about the price of a pair of white Zombas. Just like that, out of nowhere. Obviously that's a PC white Zomba, I'm not entirely sure about PS4. Coming up next, we have Labyrinth and Pink Photons, combined worth about 4.25 keys, giving me a 5.75 key profit on that trade. The white roulettes are now worth only 3.5 keys, giving me 46.5 key profits on that one trade alone. Now coming up, we have Slipstream. According to the price that I'm using for this video, Slipstream is now worth 7 to 8 keys, so 7.5 keys on average. I sold my Slipstream for just 5 keys, giving me a minus 2.5 key loss in that video for that item. And I do have a theory as to why the Slipstream versus other items has actually gone up in value, whereas others have gone down. But like I said, we'll talk about that later on. The Septum pack that I sold, Forest Green Septums and Sky Blue Septums, both worth 0.75 keys, making it 1.5 keys. I sold them obviously for 13, giving me 11.5 keys profit on there. And the other Spiralis, purple and crimson, 0.75 keys, and the titanium white, 2.5. So those 3 Spiralises now sold for 4 keys. I sold them for 15, giving me a profit of 11 keys. This one is obviously insane. The crimson tachyon and burnt sienna tachyon have both just been valued at a default 0.75 keys, 1.5 keys together. I sold them for 11, giving me a 9.5 key profit there. Now this one, crimson voltaics, okay? Obviously, the profit margin is insane, but it's the fact that the Crimson Voltaics are now worth, or said to be worth on PS4, 9 keys, which is a profit of 81 keys. But that means I literally sold them for 10 times more than they're worth now. Again, we'll get into it, but 10 times more, 81 key profit. That is absolutely insane. Now, here's an interesting one. The pink wildcat ears and saffron wildcat ears and cobalt wildcat ears, all at 1.25 keys each, add up to 3.75 keys. I sold them back then for 4 keys, so only 0.25 keys profit there, meaning that the painted wildcat ears have kind of retained their value for the past couple of years for the most part, which I think is very interesting. We have the saffron zombas, which are worth 3.5 keys now, giving me a 9.5 key profit because I sold them for 13. And the black zombas, also a huge trade, only worth 7 keys now, giving me a 32 key profit because I sold them for 39. So all those items that I sold to Jake for essentially 403 keys, you could now sell for 81.25 keys, which gives me a massive profit on that video of 321.75 keys, which is absolutely phenomenal. So overall, I could expect around about 115 keys for these items today, and 2 years ago, I traded them for 565 keys, which is approximately 450 keys profit, and I sold all these items collectively for nearly 5 times their worth, which is insane. Now here are some standouts. Forest Green Volts, we have over 30 keys of profit. I sold the purple loopers for more than 15 times their worth now, which is absolutely insane. 4 regular painted zombas, I got 37 keys profit on that. The Heatwave and Titanium White Endo, 82.5 keys there. The Slipstream, I lost 2.5 keys, which is very, very interesting. Crimson Voltaics, I got an 81 key profit with 10 times the worth they are now. And the Wildcat ears are basically the same after the 2 years. So why is this? Why are some items affected and why are some items not? Now, pretty much everything in this video comes down to supply and demand. In a lot of cases, demand has been affected. In a lot of cases, supply has been affected. So if we look deeper into it, we'll see what I mean. So let's start with the slipstream, okay? I lost 2.5 keys on this. Obviously, since 2 years ago, the supply has gone up slightly. It's not gone up at the same rate of all the other items in Rocket League, but obviously you can't discard a black market. Once they exist forever. You can't trade them up, you can't throw them away. They are in the game. Whether they're in it, inactive accounts or anything like that, the supply can never go down of these Rocket League items that are top tier, such as black markets and exotics. But the supply has gone up so little that even a similar amount of demand, if not less demand, has actually made the slipstream more expensive, because I'm sure fewer people want the slipstream now than they did when the Champions crates came out, but because no one opens Champions crates now because they have been discontinued, eventually it's possible that the Champions crates could run out and the slipstream's not in any crate. The supply will eventually halt and more people will see the slipstream. People might want an OG decal, so the demand will go slightly up. Hence why in these last 2 years, where Champions crates have basically been non-existent, the slipstream's actually gone up in value a little bit. Similarly with the Wildcat ears, they don't really come about very often. You have to get them from an uncommon trade up, and it has to be a very specific, exact trade up, and that's how you get Wildcat ears, which is quite difficult nowadays, especially when no one really trades up on commons. And people, again, might want some Wildcat ears today because they do still look cool. So again, supply is going up a very small amount compared to some other items in this video, but the demand will slowly rise as time goes on. Hence why the price has actually been kind of unaffected. There are some very obvious trends with certain items, particularly the titanium white endo. This is just a simple supply and demand thing whereby the demand is just way down. The supply, again, up a tiny bit. Obviously we have the golden crates, which I think some of them do have the endo in, so the supply of titanium white endos is up since 2 years ago, but the demand has shot way down. No one wants them anymore. You know, they're still kind of cool, they look all right. Barely anyone mains the endo, and it's not cool to get one anymore because they've been out for so long. So the demand is so low, whereas at the time of this video, demand was through the roof. It was like a trending item. It's the one everyone wanted. So the reason I got such a good price for the white endo is because the demand was up. Everyone wanted them. Now we move on to the Zombas. Why did I get so much for the painted Zombas? Now, obviously, the demand was way up there. Everyone loves a painted Zomba, and the supply was very low. And that is why so many people wanted them, because there weren't many painted Zombas out there. Not as many people did trade-ups. However, now, the reason that the price has gone down isn't really a demand issue anymore. It's actually a supply issue. It is totally different to the white endo situation with the Zombas. The reason the price in the Zombas has gone down so much is because there's so many of them. People like me, we're doing trade-ups in the Player's Choice all the time. The Player's Choice crate really changed the market for Rocket League. It changed the supply for wheels like the Zomba and black markets that are in the Player's Choice crate. It took everyone's favorite items that were quite rare and difficult to get with very limited supply and made the supply skyrocket, and that is why the Zombas are still going down in price to this day. The demand is still pretty much the same as far as I can see. When I say that, I mean in terms of personal preference. Like, people still that liked, say, the Saffron Zombas back then would think that Saffron Zombas look quite cool on a vehicle, but there's so many of them around, their price has gone down because the supply has gone up. Crimson Voltaics were the same. They were a Champions Crate 2 item, but then as soon as the Player's Choice Crate came out for, I can't remember how long it was, but maybe at least a year, the Voltaics were in the Player's Choice Crate. So the supply of Crimson Voltaics, as well as white Zombas, black Zombas, all shot up. And that is why you see an increase in price of items such as the white Apex on PS4, because the supply, flatlining. You can't make any more. What's out there is out there. So everyone says this, but as far as trading tip goes, if you can get an item in the peak of demand with a lack of supply, so after a new update, try and sell it as quick as you can. I'm not as quick on these things as a lot of people are, but back then I was. I sold a white endo for basically 80 keys when it's now worth 6 keys, which is absolutely insane. Nowadays, I kind of take a relaxed approach. I don't really go out to try and sell things. Like, I haven't sold the Hex Tide that I got very soon after the update, and it's already down to like 14 keys or something like that. So the best way, obviously, to make profit on Rocket League is if you can hit these items that are highly sought after with a lower supply. And you've got to think about items that will depreciate over time. You know, imports are perfect. If you can get imports and maybe even regular exotics, not even painted after an update, you can sell them and you will guaranteed make a profit because the rate at which they depreciate is so rapid. Black markets, again, Hextide was hype. You can still get painted Hextide, but the white Hextide, for example, the supply is so low that most people just don't even think about it. It's just not in their price range. It's too high a price for how rare it is. You just don't trade with painted black markets, really. And as far as the regular black markets go, you don't know if it's going to stand the test of time. Everyone loved the new Hextide, but it's down there with the averages now. Not every black market is going to be a dissolver, one that just sort of stays at the top, or the OG Heatwave that was at the top for a long time. It's not going to be like that, and it's very difficult to predict. I thought this would be a very interesting video for some people that have played Rocket League for a long time, have traded for a long time, have maybe wanted to get into it and wanted to know the ins and outs of it a little bit. But yeah, supply and demand, much like in real life, it really does affect the market on Rocket League. And here is a clear example of that. I sold, you know, 115 keys worth of items today for over 500 keys. You can't do that nowadays. I also wanted to make it because I often go back to those videos and I see a lot of comments saying, I'm jealous of how much profit he made, blah, blah, blah. And the reason that this trading video was brought to my attention was because one of them did cross the 1 million view threshold, which is always something I look at and I think, wow, that got 1 million views? Why? And I see why. It's an insane trading video. And this is kind of bringing it together and updating you 2 years later. And it really is, in my opinion, just as insane. I don't think this is going to get 1 million views because it's not that type of video, but what a crazy trading session. I hope this didn't come across as too rambly, but it just really does interest me. For someone who plays Rocket League, but for someone who's also been very interested in maths for like his whole life, someone who's been interested in business studies for his whole life, this has really interested me. Like looking at all the numbers, looking at the profit, looking at the depreciation, supply and demand, all that stuff, it's very interesting to me. So I kind of just made this video for myself, and I'm sure that some of you will enjoy it. So that's going to do it for this video. If you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like on it. Subscribe today to join the Pixel Army. I've been Pixel, you have been awesome, and I'll see you in the next video very soon.